You depart from the Prosperity Chamber and are instantly caught up in a wave of refugees fleeing for their lives, struggling through a panicked wave of humanity. You are able to retrace your steps and eventually reach Hioi. Although the typhoon has passed, the scene is wet and chaotic. The newly homeless crowded the streets, dazedly wandering, searching for missing loved ones and nursing injuries. Relief workers are already on the scene, providing blankets and medical aid. Rescue personnel carry the stunned and wounded to safety. The entire area has been cordoned off by the HKPF, while knight-errant officers and the military peacekeeping force attempt to maintain order. You emerge from Colon-walled city to bustling clusters of activity. Refugees huddling together, staring back at their lost homes. Government troops deploying from armored personnel carriers. Newsvans setting up remote camera feeds while reporters scramble to find the right angle for their broadcast. The air is electric, with a threat of potential violence as panicked beekeepers exactly. Peacekeepers eye the growing crowd of evacuating poor. Gobbet's eyes dart furtively as she turtles her head between her shoulders. This place is hot. The cops are swarming the place, and that APB is still out on us. Yeah, let's head to the boat, sneaky like. Sounds good. It's gonna take a year's worth of showers to wash that experience off me. Isabel lifts her nose towards a reporter interviewing someone from the inside the walled city. Looks like we get to see a man on the street interview on our way. The press already have their hooks in someone, hoping for a soundbite. The reporter wears a look of earnest concern, like a coat of cheap deodorant. And that is when you started running? Yeah, it was bad in there, shooting, screaming. I was terrified. And what caused this, sir? Why are people flooding out of a walled city injured and disoriented? The man stares at the scene around him. It's like everyone is saying some sort of chemical leak, a drug lab exploded or something, caused mass hallucinations. Oh, they already spun a tale. They already spun a tale. Okay. The reporter turns to the camera and pretends to check his notes. There you have it, Sonny. Our third report of mass hallucinations and violence caused by an explosion in an illegal drug lab. While the reports remain sketchy, it appears that street crime is again on the rise. He half turns and sweeps his arm over the scene. As you can see, it's still turmoil and confusion here as police and executive council peacekeepers respond to the emergency situation, attempting to maintain order. But in all this chaos and maze of poverty that is Colon-walled City, we may never know what really happened there. Back to the studio, Sonny. The light on the news camera goes off, and the reporter drops his facade. He ignores the draggled man beside him and begins packing up his equipment. After a moment, he sees you looking at him and turns to you with a scowl. What are you looking at? There was no illegal drug spill. I'm shocked. He laughs sardonically and continues packing. Of course there was no illegal drug spill. Of course it's a line of corp crack. Everything you see, everything you've been taught, every official you elect, they're all brats and paid for by the people pulling the strings. Yeah, well, no one's telling me what to think. No eye contact, he remains bent over his equipment case. Of course not, pal. You're different. Actually, I'm telling him what to do, because he's not able to make his own decisions. Reporter finishes packing and stands up straight, brushing the wet grit of the street off his hands. As he does so, his eyes narrow. His gaze moves to your crew, flicking from face to face before eventually landing on you. Looks like you just came from inside. So tell me, what did you really see in there? A mess that Josephine Tang never cleaned up. Chuckles. Why am I not surprised? No one ever remembers that she built this whole place in the first place. Not that it would matter. Joe Tang holds us down by the balls. It wouldn't surprise me if she was running some kind of test in the world city. It's like their little petri dish. He snorts. Wouldn't surprise me if the whole thing blew up on their face because of low safety standards either. They test food additives, body modifications, pharmaceuticals, whatever some junior executive can dream up. Nothing surprises me anymore. Doesn't it bother you? He blinks at you. Why would it? That's just the way it works. You think I give a shit about journalism? You think anyone does? Everyone on this island knows that my news service is just a mouthpiece for the Executive Council. Hell, if you look close enough, you'll probably find that it's owned by a member of the Executive Council. But why would we fear them? Because their world is changing and it's scary. They feel small. They need scapegoats to blame and authority figures to tell them what to think. My news network gives them that. He points at the thread screen mounted on the side of his news van. And there's a prime example of an authority figure, Jo Tang, rising star on the Executive Council. Just look at her spinning this to her own ends, talking about the humanitarian relief effort which is mounting. You know. The calm chirps, it's Scanley Cheng. Go ahead and take your calm. I'm gonna go before the scene turns to some kind of riot. It usually does. Hello, Auntie. Don't hello Auntie me. I lost contact with the soldiers sent into the world city with you, and now these Tang assholes and government troops are all over the place. Get over here and tell me what the hell happened. Right away, Auntie. No response, the line is already dead. Isabel tugs at your arm, her eyelids at half-mast. I want to sleep for about a year. I'm heading to the crack and dig. I could use some sack time too. I'll see you there. Better go talk to Auntie Seattle. Oh, you're gonna leave me here? Basic emergency response supplies, low in variety. Radio monitor displays a live feed from the network's newsroom. It's a standard split-screen talking heads back and forth between the 30 newscasters and a steadily woman of indeterminate old age. The animated label under the older woman reads, Executive Council Member Josephine Tang. And if you're just joining us, we are talking live with Councilwoman Tang from her office in Prosperity Tower. Councilwoman, again, thank you for being here to help us make sense of the conflicting reports that we're getting out of the Kowloon World City. The other woman nods with queenly composure. Thank you, Sonny. I only wish that we were speaking in happier times. Of course, madam. That is, indeed, a stressful day for the citizens of the World City, but who knows? Newscaster brightens, flashing the best smile money can buy. For one of them, it might be their lucky day. Stay tuned, because we're going to cut away shortly to this week's Giga Bowl drawing, where some lucky winner could walk away with almost 1 trillion new yen. The newscaster returns her focus to our guest, a look of practiced concern back on her face. Oh, madam, you are saying that this sort of situation is inevitable when masses of underprivileged children are raised in a world without hope. Exactly, Sonny. Josephine Tang leans forward towards the camera. Without hope, these children are left to create their own opportunities, the only way they know how, by turning to crime. They are often brought up in single-parent households without strong guidance to put them on the right path. They are surrounded by thugs and criminals eager to put them to work in all manner of unsavory activities. And it's events such as this one call our attention to the plight of these poor children. That is why today I call on my Executive Council colleagues to join me in supporting a new project, Operation Hope. Under the auspices of this program, we will put these children out of poverty and place them in loving, stable homes, while their parents are rehabilitated, re-educated, and reinvigorated with a new sense of purpose. Brainwashed, I mean. That sounds like a tremendous... It is, Sonny, and it will cost billions of new yen to support such a mammoth effort. Tang Mechanical Services is ready to lead the way through our new charitable foundation, Tang for Hope. It's time for us to give back to the community and... Newscaster puts her finger to her ear. Madam Councilwoman, I'm afraid I need to cut you off there. As always, you're doing amazing work for the people of Hong Kong, but... Her dazzling smile returns. It's time for Gigabo! The older woman smiles contentedly. Of course. Again, thank you so much for joining us and offering your perspective. The newscaster checks the notes in front of her. We have been speaking with Josephine Tang, entrepreneur, philanthropist, and frontrunner to be the next chair of the executive committee. Okay, let's go talk to Auntie. I thought maybe I had to talk more with Crafty. I'm not really sure. Commotion from the streets of Heo bleeds into Kindly Ching's magic parlor. Riot soldiers bustle to keep up with their boss's orders. Couriers come in regularly, whispering to her lieutenants before listening intently and running off again. As you enter, Kindly Cheng is giving instructions to Strangler Bao, who nods enthusiastically. She looks over at you and holds up a hand. Wait. And send Wong and Ho to snatch some of those medical supplies off the relief trucks. For all the excitement, nobody's watching them at all. She nods to herself, grimacing in satisfaction. There'll be a big black market for them over the next few weeks. Good thinking, Mrs. Chang. I'll lift a finger to his ear to transmit the orders. When he sees you waiting, he inclines his head a quarter of an inch. First, I figured you were dead. Last I heard, my soldiers had found you and everyone else was heading into the world city. Then things got out of control. She takes a pull on her thin black cigar. Where are my people? What the hell happened? We got separated in the world city. Found out later they were killed. Her eyes are hard little black buttons. Is that how you treat my resources? Please accept my apologies, Mrs. Cheng. She takes another drag of her cigar, exhales the smoke through her nose. So you do have something to apologize for. No, I was just trying to be respectful of your loss. She taps her ash on the floor. Oh, they knew the risks. They had a shot at moving up and they missed. Forget them. I've got bigger problems, like customers and tenants streaming out of the world city, screaming for their lives, like the HKPF and those Tang security shitheels swarming the place. She drops the stub of her cigar in an ashtray. Now tell me what happened in the world city. Would I have to get an acetylene torch and ask nicely? Yeah, a new tenant tried to move in. The big, bad, terrifying kind from another dimension. Only Cheng's eyes get big at that. What kind? Well, the kind of soul-sucking, nightmare-inducing, talking inside your head kind of demon god. The tried boss crosses her arms across her chest. Okay, we can leave it at that. Strangler Bao leans in, his finger to his ear. My apologies, Mrs. Cheng, but one of the men you sent with the runners into the world city is still alive. Oh, nice. Stumbled into Wong and Ho as they were pulling medical supplies off a lorry. Cheng turns to you with an edge in her voice. At least one came back alive. Strangler Bao lowers his head, listens to his earpiece again. A man says that Wong Lun Fat is dead. He got shot up by the HKPF inside the world city. Bao lifts his head and makes eye contact with the triad boss. He's almost salivating with avarice. A man saw it with his own eyes. This is Cheng. With his own eyes? Is that important? That sounds good. Does it make up for your dead soldiers, Auntie? It wipes the slate clean, my darling. Oh, yes. You see, Wong Lun Fat was my superior in the Yellow Lotus. A 438. Kindly Cheng black button eyes. Kindly Cheng's black button eyes sparkle with satisfaction born of malice. He was also a pig. Tell our friend Fist what that means, Mr. Bao. A wolfish smile spreads across her face, and her eyes squeeze into crescent moons of pleasure. And say it slow so I can savor it. The death of Wong Lun Fat has opened a spot for you to move up, madame. You could be the next 438. Bao smiles. The effect is chilling. The gods help those who seize opportunities. Mr. Bao, put every man we have on this. Spread the word. Kindly Cheng says all debts to the Yellow Lotus are suspended for citizens of the world city until order is restored, and no interest will compound either. Tell them that I have medical supplies too, and there will be no charge for them till the crisis is over. And after? When the laws of supply and demand take over, my darling. Once I convince the relief forces that order has been restored in the world city, they'll pull out, thankful to be away from there. Within a week, the public will forget about the refugees and the government will be pleased that their budget is no longer being drained by the poor. Medical supplies will dry up overnight and prices will soar. I may not have brought Josephine Tang down, but I've got my career going again. She grabs her bottle and unscrews the cap with her thumb. Your career too, Mr. Bao. You'll be my new straw sandal. Good partners support one another. Bao lowers his head in respect. You have proven that, Mrs. Chang. This calls for a drink. The soon-to-be 438 pours 2 shots and the stink of kerosene stabs your nose like a switchblade. He hands a glass to Bao, touches with her own, and holds it there. Your loyalty and clear-headedness have proven immensely valuable, Mr. Bao. You are an effective ally, and I wish you great wealth and good fortune. They down the full substance in one gulp. Looks like you two are moving up. Yes, and it appears your fortune is changing too, Fist. She pours herself another drink and leaves it sitting on the table. Remember, you have a mysterious benefactor. One who lifted the APB on you. Oh, who did it? I don't have a clue, and I must admit that bothers me. It must be somebody powerful. I can't imagine it was Josephine Tang. After all, what would her motivation be? It's got to be someone else. Well, it's not like I've made a lot of friends since we hit town. I'll tap my network. Find out if I can. Tiny pulls out another thin black cigar. Well, that's for later. I'm missing an entire piece of your story, my darling. What happened at Prosperity Tower? Did you rescue Raymond Black? Did his mother wipe his memory? Well, we did get him, and we stopped his mother from wiping his memory. Impressive. You have become quite the Shadowrunner, Fist. She lights the cigar, a gleam of hunger in her shiny black eyes. While you were in Prosperity Tower, did you find any incriminating data on Josephine Tang? Dirt? Something I can use? Yeah, we found some financial statements that will get her in deep with the Executive Council. Enjoy. 5,000. Nice. We don't need it right now, but there is still a campaign after the main campaign, so we're gonna use it there. Annie barks a laugh, and the cigar dances in her mouth as she speaks. Now I can take that dried up old bitch to the mat. The tried boss pulls out a crit stick and tosses it to you. The number of the data readout is big, more than twice the payout of a single Shadowrun. With this, Josephine Tang's days on the Executive Council are numbered. It appears that my fortunes have truly changed. She pours 2 more shots from her reeking bottle. Our partnership has become quite enriching, Fist. She raises her glass. My new #1 Shadowrunner, may our partnership continue to bear fruit. The beginning of something big. Ali Cheng watches you drink, smiling her serpentine smile. And she downs her glass and one swallow licks the rim. Now before I get back to business, I must know, how did you go from rescuing Raymond Black to the Vault City vomiting people? Yeah, Ray made a magical fortune machine, but it suffered a demon summoning glitch. Your foster father created a magical fortune machine. Right boss cocks her head, raises her cigar to her lips. Please tell me you have no control of this device. Please tell me you brought it to me. Oh, you have control. No, sorry. That's a pity. I'm sure there are plenty of people who benefit from it. Well, this business has certainly proved lucrative for me. Only Cheng studies the glowing tip of a black cigar. I'm in a prime position to be next Yellow Lotus for 438. I only lost 4 men, and I finally got something I can use against Josephine Tang. Yeah, let's not say anything about Raymond. She didn't ask. You've made quite a splash since arriving in Hong Kong, Fist. Many Shadowruns completed in a very short time. The reports from our clients are glowing, mostly. Well, you can add closing the door to a demon goddess on the list, so we made a difference. Perhaps for some, for a while. Giant Boss leans in, her voice conspiratorial. Listen to me, my sweet. When I was a girl, there had been a pandemic like Vitus, but in 2010, it happened. We'd never seen death like that. A quarter of the world's population disappeared. It was miserable. It pushed us to our limits, but the survivors moved on. And then the spike babies started appearing, and the dwarf babies. And then suddenly there were dragons, and goblinization, and magic. And every time the world changed, we got used to it. If the demon goddess decided that the world city was her new living room, and you didn't, whatever you did, what would have happened? She shrugs, sniffs. Perhaps a new news would cover it until the next sensation pulled their attention away. But after a while, it would be drowned out, and drowned out by all the other crap competing for our attention. And the demon in the world city would become the new normal. Well, the new normal is that the world city isn't under magical influence anymore. Congratulations, the poor can return to their misery with no interference from magical machines or big bad things because of you. Now let me give you a piece of advice for the future, my sweets. Something Mr. Cheng used to tell me. Respect ghosts and gods, but keep away from them. It sounds like you almost lost your ass in the world city. I think you'd best listen to that. Oh, so there is Mr. Cheng. Kindly smiles mischievously. There have been many Mr. Chengs, my darling. None have lasted long. She stubs out her cigar, screws the top back from her bottle. Now get some sleep, Fist. You look like shit. Tomorrow, we'll talk about the future. That sounds good. Kylie Cheng doesn't respond. She's already moved on. Wow. What's the status of those medical supplies? Go to bed. Go. Scene of the Kraken is quiet, save for the sound of eating. Crew is crowded around Gobbet's electric hot plate. Her cast iron pot simmers on top, and they hold bowls of soup in their hands. You recognize the smell: chicken-style soya broth, elbow macaroni, tinned ham, and a heaping scoop of egg-flavored mycoprotein. The mood is somber. What's coming after that game? After this? Well, because this is the extended edition or enhanced edition or whatever. There's still like a secondary campaign, but after this campaign, so I'm gonna be doing that, and I don't know what's gonna happen later. We'll see. I still have to think about it. But since that thing is gonna come, I'm guessing I'm gonna get a few days, like 2 or 3 days, maybe a little bit more, out of the second module, let's say. Okay. Team, I thought all of you are going to bed. We figured we'd hang out a while. No one could remember the last time we ate. Gaichu's not here because he eats human. Looks over her bowl at Duncan. Besides, no one could sleep anyway. It means me. I'm too fucked up to sleep, trying not to think about Raymond. He takes an enormous gulp of soup, wipes his mouth with the back of his hand. They're just keeping me company, feeding me and pretending not to be tired. Talking a bit. What you talking about? Isabel fishes a chunk of something out of her soup with her fingers, flicks it to the floor. We've been debriefing a bit. Yeah, talking about all that's going on. Everything we've been through together. She shuffles her feet a bit. Sorry about Raymond, you too, Duncan. He was trying to do good with that machine. You two need to remember that. Wu drops his head. His words come out slowly, as if they were being forcibly extracted. I can't believe he did that. Gave himself to that demon. Well, I think he did what he came here to do. I guess we did too, Big. We came to help Raymond, and he got what he wanted. Isabel stares over her bow at the wall of the trawler. Her voice is soft. Hard to believe we defeated a god. Demon god. Gobbet stirs her soup with her finger. From another plane of existence. Hard to believe that Josephine Tang is going to remain untarnished by this whole thing. Little Decker's face hardens. 20 years of misery. 20 years of suffering. For tens of thousands. Hundreds, maybe. That's the way it is. The way the world works. Powerful play their games and the little people pay the price. She'll see justice someday. She has to. Wu stares into his soup, squinting in concentration. But one thing doesn't add up for me. Why was Josephine Sang so intent on shutting us down? Why wouldn't she be? You saw what she was responsible for. No, think about it. The HKPF snipers, the plastic-faced man, all of the resources that she poured into capturing Raymond and hunting us down. I mean, she's already covered her tracks with that illegal drug lab explosion, right? So why not just let Ray do his thing, then cover it up afterwards? It doesn't add up. Or it had to be the Fortune engine itself. Yeah, I think you're right. From everything Raymond said, that she was supposed to be pulling churning toxic, but I felt something in that room, a flow of positive chi that I didn't expect. Robert wrinkles her nose. She stares at the floor of the trawler for several seconds, apparently lost in thought. I think that it was leaving the world city. I bet that machine did something else. Something that Raymond didn't know about. The little Decker stirs up her soup, pondering. What if it was a siphon? What if Josephine Sang was stealing the cast of Positive Chief from the world city, leeching it for her own benefit? Yeah, that's what I thought too. Wu nods at Isabel, runs with her train of thought. She sealed up the Fortune engine, leached the good chi for herself, and took Tang Mechanical Services from the minor company Ray's father built to the ballbuster it is today. Jaw tightens. That's how she got herself on the Executive Council of Hong Kong. Of course, this is all speculation. Can't prove any of it, but if Josephine was using positive chi that the Fortune engine was casting off, she isn't getting it anymore. Your foster father saw to her. Robert taps her spoon against the rim of her bowl. I wonder what will happen to her. Guess we'll have to wait and see. Robert finishes her soup, lets out a little belch, and pats her stomach, satisfied. She tosses the bowl in the corner for Madness and Folly. So see you two. What now? Bed. Good plan for everybody, but especially you, Big. Wu winks at you. You look like shit. Why does everybody tell me that? Oh, we can catch up with the other people. Oh, I didn't realize we can. With all of them?